At 02:14 local time, a Patriot battery operator on the island of Bahrain picks up the first contact. Low, slow, bearing northeast, crawling up the Gulf at 110 knots. He watches for 8 seconds and a second contact appears behind him. Then a third, then 6 more. Shaheds, swept-wing kamikaze drones with a 2-stroke engine on the tail and enough explosive to gut a building. At least a dozen of them aimed at Naval Support Activity Bahrain, a base where 8,000 American soldiers and their families are sleeping half a mile from the perimeter fence. The battery's commander's problem is not tactical. These things fly in a straight line at the speed of a Cessna. His problem is arithmetic. A PAC-3 interceptor costs $4 million a round. Shooting one at a $30,000 Shahed is like swatting a mosquito with a Rolex. It works, but you're not getting the Rolex back. And every round he spends is one he won't have if something bigger shows up behind the swarm. But protecting civilian life is non-negotiable. He fires. The canister blows and the PAC-3 clears the launcher on a pillar of white exhaust. 17 feet of guided telephone pole accelerating to Mach 5 inside of 2 seconds. No regular warhead, no fragmentation. Just a 700-pound guided brick that steers itself into the target nose on and lets kinetic energy do the rest. The Shahed doesn't maneuver or even detect the threat. The PAC-3 shreds it over the harbor. Debris rains into the water. He fires again. Same result, again. The drones keep coming because Iran didn't send a dozen. Iran sent enough to try to drain the rack. What the battery commander didn't know was that the Shaheds were never meant to hit anything. They were bait. The Patriot crews shred them faster than Iran can space the follow-on waves. While both batteries are angled northeast, cleaning up the last of the swarm, a Fatah 1 ballistic missile drops from directly overhead on a near-vertical descent at Mach 13. Iran's most advanced weapon, slipping through the front door while security is chasing skateboarders in the parking lot. The warhead hits a service center 130 feet from the command hub. A second missile flattens a satellite uplink dish. 2 hits. Out of everything Iran threw at Bahrain, 2 weapons landed. And the operational impact is close to 0.
The satellite uplink was one of at least half a dozen ways Fifth Fleet talks to its ships. HF radio, UHF SATCOM, Link 16, fleet broadband, and encrypted chat. Losing that dish is like someone cutting your landline when you've got a cell phone, a satellite phone, and your neighbor's Wi-Fi password. The comes reroute within minutes. Fifth Fleet doesn't miss a beat. 50 miles across the water in the UAE, Al-Udeid's scope is filling up with inbound contacts. They're about to get a much bigger test. The Combined Air Operations Center sits in a hardened building at Al-Udeid's airbase. Nobody leaves their console. The air war doesn't pause because Iran decided to shoot back. At 0300 local, Iranian ballistic missiles cross the Qatari coastline in stacks. Second salvo already climbing before the first arrives. Third right behind. Designed to keep the Patriot battery cycling reloads without a gap. A PAC-3 MSE operator picks up the lead track at 40 miles. Speed, trajectory, probable impact point all computed in under 2 seconds. He confirms the engagement. The canister blows and the PAC-3 MSE clears the launcher. Same guided telephone pole is Bahrain, but the MSE variant is faster and meaner. Mach 5 steering with the same altitude thrusters NASA uses to dock spacecraft. Firing millimeter corrections at a closing speed where both objects cease to exist on contact. The first intercept flashes above Doha at 80,000 feet. The warhead and the interceptor cease to exist in the same instant. Over 8,000 miles per hour of combined closure speed, converting both into a spray of particles that will drift through the upper atmosphere for days. A second PAC-3 is already climbing. For 90 seconds, every Iranian missile meets an American interceptor on the way up. The operators cycle through engagements with the mechanical rhythm of a crew that has run this drill 1,000 times in simulators. Iran's one success at Al-Udeid comes from the same trick as Bahrain. A maneuvering warhead that fires small lateral thrusters at 30,000 feet and shifts trajectory just enough to slide past interceptors already committed to the original track. 2 warheads and a low-flying Shahed get through the saturated window. An ANFPS-132 early warning radar takes damage. A section of the flight line gets cratered. And it doesn't even matter. The E-3 Sentry AWACS orbiting at 30,000 feet is already doing the same job the ground radar was doing. The base's backup power, backup comms, and backup sensors for the backups. The crater flight line gets rapid set concrete within the hour. Inside the chout, the screens flicker from the impact. The overhead lights sway. The officer grabs his coffee before it slides off the console. Fire trucks work the flight line outside the blast windows while officers inside continue directing the air campaign against Iran without interruption. Iran put 3 weapons through the front door of the building, running the air war against it. The air war didn't notice, but in the skies over Kuwait, it's a different story. The sky over Al Ayam sounds like a thunderstorm that never moves on. 380 inbound projectiles, ballistic missiles, and drones stacked together. Salvo after salvo, the largest combined barrage any missile defense battery has faced in modern warfare. The Kuwaiti and American Patriot crews are about to set a record that may never be broken. A PAC-3 operator acquires the first inbound Shahed variant at the edge of his envelope, 35 miles out, descending through 60,000 feet at Mach 6. He fires 2 interceptors 8 seconds apart. Standard procedure. If the first misses, the second is already on the way. The first catches the warhead in at 40,000 feet, flash track gone. The second, already committed, self-destructs when it loses its target. 2 rounds per threat. That naff nobody puts in the brochure since you don't get second chances with ballistic missiles. The batteries keep firing. White arcs climbing in pairs, flashing at altitude, wreckage trails streaking Earth. The crew cycle through reload after reload. Canisters emptied, swapped, and reloaded by ground teams working under the strobe light flicker of their own interceptors launching overhead. Every few minutes, a new salvo crosses the Kuwaiti border. And every few minutes, the Patriot batteries answer. The pace never stops. In one intense, 3-hour engagement, the accuracy never drops. Under conditions no exercise ever simulated, at a rate of fire that defies belief, defense systems achieve 380 engagements with 0 leakers. A perfect record. This is the kind of performance that rewrites every textbook on integrated air and missile defense. You can almost hear the sales pitch writing itself in a defense company boardroom, but physics always extracts a price. 380 intercepts mean 380 clouds of debris falling somewhere, while most of it lands in open desert. Shrapnel from one high-altitude intercept rains down on a supply area where troops are loading pallets through the night. Soon, the calls for medics echo across the base. Ground crews rush to patch the runway with rapid-set concrete, and forklifts navigate around fresh debris craters. A stray drone even clips Kuwait International Airport. Iran's 1,000-missile barrage has done little more than inconvenience commercial flights. 380 for 380. The most perfect missile defense performance in history. The shrapnel casualties aren't a cost of failure. They're the unavoidable cost of physics. And this is just one part of a night that's making history. Over at Al Dhafra Air Base, a THAAD operator gets the launch notification at 3:47 local time. 2 ballistic tracks arcing high from Iranian territory. THAAD, Terminal High Altitude Area Defense. 30 years of development. Billions of dollars. It proved itself over the UAE in 2022 and defended Israel through 2024 and 2025. But it has never defended an American base from a direct Iranian barrage. Until now, the battery fires. The first interceptor erupts from its canister, climbing on a single-stage solid rocket motor. One continuous burn, pushing it straight up through the troposphere, through the stratosphere, into the thin blackness where the sky stops being blue and starts being space. At 60 miles altitude, the nose cone separates. The kinetic interceptor, about the size of a basketball, packed with infrared seekers and its own thrusters, flies free. 60 miles up, higher than spy planes, at the very edge of space. This thing is steering itself toward a target moving at Mach 8. There's no warhead, just raw mass meeting mass at a combined speed that could cross the continental United States in under 12 minutes. The seeker locks onto the descending Iranian warhead against the cold background of space. Its thrusters fire, making tiny corrections. The 2 objects meet head-on. Kinetic energy instantly converts both into vapor, 60 miles above the desert. 2 flashes light up the sky over Abu Dhabi, bright enough to be photographed from the ground. A second interceptor handles the second track with the same clean physics. Acquire, close, convert to vapor. That night, Iran fires over 300 missiles and drones at the UAE. Every single one aimed at a military target is intercepted. Al Dhafra stays in the fight without a scratch. Not a single pothole on the runway, not one broken window. Undeterred, Iran tries again, this time in Jordan. An F-35 pilot at Muwafaq Salti Air Base is running his final pre-takeoff checks when the air raid sirens start to wail. 49 projectiles are converging on the base, a mixed salvo of ballistic missiles and drones. Jordanian interceptors climb hard into the night sky. A Zaid battery engages the highest threats. But one warhead punches through the perimeter. The blast shakes the ramp hard enough for the pilot to feel it through the F-35's landing gear. Looking out the left side of his canopy, he sees smoke rising from a building that just took a direct hit. He releases the brakes. The F-35 accelerates down the runway, sirens still screaming, smoke billowing behind him, and interceptor contrails crisscrossing the sky above. His own base is taking fire behind his tail as he rotates into the dark, with missiles still arcing overhead. The heads-up display is already populating with waypoints. The mission goes on. This is the reality of modern warfare, a high-stakes duel between offense and defense, played out in seconds at the edge of space. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow for more. Imagine the dead of night, the air thick with tension. Suddenly, the silence is shattered. Sirens blare across a US base in the Middle East. This isn't a drill. It's the new face of modern warfare, and it's happening right now. Just recently, American forces faced a barrage of attacks. Drones and missiles launched by Iran-backed groups rained down on bases in Iraq and Syria. These weren't random potshots. They were coordinated assaults designed to overwhelm defenses. In one harrowing incident at Al-Asad Air Base, multiple ballistic missiles and rockets were fired. You can just picture the chaos, the scramble for cover, the deafening explosions. But amidst the turmoil, our service members stood firm. They engaged the incoming threats. And thanks to their skill and our advanced defense systems, most of the projectiles were intercepted before they could cause major damage. In response, the US didn't just play defense. Swift and decisive action was taken. American F-15 fighter jets soared into the night sky, their targets locked. They conducted precision airstrikes against facilities used by Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps and affiliated groups. These strikes weren't about escalation. They were about sending a clear message. Attacks on US personnel will not be tolerated. The targets included command and control centers, intelligence hubs, and weapons storage facilities, cutting off the head of the snake, so to speak. This cycle of attack and retaliation paints a vivid picture of 21st century conflict. It's a high-stakes chess match played with drones, missiles, and fighter jets. The battleground is no longer just on land, it's in the air and in cyberspace. The speed of these engagements is incredible, with life-or-death decisions being made in mere seconds. It highlights the bravery and professionalism of the men and women who operate these complex systems, standing guard in distant lands to protect American interests and their comrades. This isn't a movie. It's the reality for our troops on the front lines. The threat is constant, and the technology is ever-evolving. From drone swarms to hypersonic missiles, the challenges are immense. But as these recent events show, the resolve and capability of the US military remains stronger than ever. Thanks for watching. If you found this look into modern conflict insightful, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more in-depth analysis. Stay safe out there. The militia crews launching these things from the back of pickup trucks 60 miles away have no idea whether any of them are getting through. They just keep feeding them into the dark and posting claims on Telegram. 16 attacks, 16 claims of American casualties, 0 impacts inside the perimeter. The Iraqi militias are batting zero and posting highlight reels on TikTok and Telegram. The most expensive thing damaged at Herbi all night was the section of perimeter fence hit by falling drone debris from a successful intercept. The only American asset Iran hasn't shot at yet is the one that isn't bolted to the ground. And this is by far Iran's biggest mistake of the day. The IRGC launches ballistic missiles at carrier. Strike Group 3 in the northern Arabian Sea. The Lincoln heels into a hard turn. The same evasive maneuver that sent an F-A-18 sliding off the Truman's deck during a Houthi attack earlier that year. Flight deck crews grab a hold of anything bolted down. The carrier's 4 crews churn the Arabian Sea white as 100,000 tons of warship pivots to present the smallest possible radar cross-section to the inbound tracks. The escorts don't need the barrier to hold steady. Their Aegis radars are already tracking. Out on the screen, Aegis cruisers and guided missile destroyers spread so wide you can't see the edges of the formation from the Lincoln's bridge. The A-Spy 1D phased array radars are tracking everything inbound before it clears Iranian airspace. 4 fixed arrays per ship, no moving parts. Firing solutions building on threats that are still climbing out of Iran. The missiles haven't reached apogee, and the defense already knows where they're going to land. The outer ring fires first. SM-3 interceptors climb out of the vertical launch cells and 2 destroyers. BLS hatches blow open, booster ignites, and a 3,000 pounds missile clears the deck, trailing white exhaust into the dark. Exo-atmospheric intercept above the atmosphere entirely, catching the warheads in space before they begin their terminal dive. The SM-3 sheds its first stage booster, then its second, then its third, each one falling away as the missile gets lighter and faster.